Well, hello. This is the energy stories for the fourth week of September 2021. And in the first story, Australian Singapore venture Sun Cable announced last week it will invest $2.5 billion in Indonesia to support its project to provide Singapore with up to 15% of its overall energy requirements. At the same time, the venture announced it was increasing the size of the project by up to 40% from 14,000 megawatts to between 17,000 and 20,000 megawatts and between 36 and 42 gigawatt hours of storage from the world's largest battery, with the entire project now slated to cost over $30 billion. The Australia-Asia Power Link, intended to start in 2027, will harvest solar energy from what would be the world's largest joint solar and battery installation in Australia's Northern Territory, and export it to Singapore over a 3,100-mile transmission system, the longest subsea HVDC cable that would have been built to date, through Indonesian waters, for which it's already gotten a permit to conduct an underwater survey. In battery news and EVs, Ford and Redwood Materials announced a strategic partnership to increase U.S. recycling of EV batteries, creating a circular battery loop. Two companies will focus on integrating recycling into Ford's overall battery strategy with a goal to, quote, develop the best approach for collecting and disassembling spent batteries from Ford's electric vehicles for recycling and remanufacturing to reduce the cost of batteries and raw materials for manufacturing new batteries, unquote. Ford has also invested $50 million in Redwood, and Ford is planning on as much as 140 gigawatt hours of battery demand in North America by 2030 and 240 gigawatt hours worldwide. Maybe some of those cars will drive on Michigan roads without needing to stop and charge. The state is now planning to build the first public road in the U.S. on which EVs can wirelessly charge as they drive. Michigan's not the only state, though. Indiana's already stolen a march on this. They began moving on a similar project, and it was to have started this summer. The Michigan Economic Development Corporation indicates this project for inductive charging will be built into a thoroughfare using a 1-mile stretch of road in either Wayne, Oakland, or Macomb County. No time frame for the project has yet been offered. Well, the NERC and FERC came back with their preliminary report on the winter storm with a focus on Texas, where the bulk of the problems were realized. Not surprisingly, the report identified the biggest causes being freezing issues, with the largest sub-causes being frozen instrumentation and wind blade icing. The second largest cause was related to gas fuel supply issues, and gas-electric interdependencies were also highlighted. The agencies made a number of recommendations with a key focus on weatherization. We'll see how many of these recommendations get translated into action. Precious few did after the 2011 winter event that led to a previous NERC-FERC report with numerous recommendations, although this most recent event was far more severe in terms of outages, economic damage, and unfortunately, overall loss of life. Over in the UK, London's largest taxi and car hire outlet, Addison Lee, said it will use only pure electric vehicles after 2023. It already has 650 EVs, but as of November, it will be adding 200 VW ID4s each month to the fleet. The company intends to invest £160 million, that's about $220 million US, to convert its fleet of more than 4,000 vehicles to electrics. A partnership with VW has helped to move this along. And finally, at the UN General Assembly last week, Chinese President Xi Jinping pledged that China will not build new coal-fired plants abroad, while also increasing clean energy support in developing countries. Xi did not provide any details on the commitment or timeline, nor did he refer to domestic coal use. And it's still building new domestic coal plants, although at a slower pace than in the past. At the same time, though, Xi did restate the country's commitments to cutting GHG emissions by 50% over the course of this decade, so through 2030, and to carbon neutrality 3 decades later by 2060. Well, those are my stories for this week, the fourth week of September 2021. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.